Radio right here on D.T.M. Wicked Radio. I hope everyone's having a great evening. I know I am. So glad it's Friday. TGIF, baby. So glad it's Friday. Been a long week. I have a great show in store for you, and I just got word he will be able to come on a little earlier. So I'll get through all of my stuff first, and then we'll have this wonderful young man named Lauren Anthony on. I know this didn't make mainstream media news, but if you're affiliated with Indian country or any of the Facebook sites that deal with Native issues, you definitely heard about this. A whole bunch of actors walked off the set of the Adam Sandler movie that's being filmed, The Ridiculous Six. Some of you may or may not have heard this. Like I said, I'm going to have him on. I want everyone to hear what he has to say. I found the story very interesting, and it makes me question certain things that have taken place in Hollywood. What is acceptable and what is unacceptable, and if you dare speak out against something, people in Hollywood will prevent you from starring in movies and things like that. Now, we'll talk more about this a little later in the broadcast when I have Lauren on with me. Very honored to have him on, and he's a wonderful, bright actor, and very, I think it's going to be a good show. Let's just say that. But for now, you're stuck listening to me for a few minutes. And from Baltimore to the mesas of the desert, ignorance is in full throttle. Now, before I get into that, I want to wish all of my pagan brothers and sisters a very happy Beltane, happy May Day to all my pagans. This is the marriage of the god and the goddess. It's the celebration of their union, which in turn brings life in all its glory and all its forms, from the bountiful harvest of food that's produced to the flowers and all living things on this planet. So we embrace this evening. This is one of the pagan holidays, and a lot of my friends in Europe went to bonfires last night, and it's still alive and well in Europe, not so much here, though. Now, we do have the full moon coming in May 3rd. This is on Sunday. It's going to hit at about 11:52 p.m. Eastern Time, and this is in the sign of Scorpio. And you guys know me if you've listened to me long enough. What comes along with this? Yes, that's right. It is a Platonic phase that's going to be starting from the 3rd to the 5th. Now, this is powerful energy right here, both positive and negative. As a practicing witch, I guarantee you I will be doing magic this night, because the full moon in Scorpio is very magical. Don't recommend it for people who are not familiar with the stars, but for those of you that are pagans and witches, you know what this power brings. On the negative, though, this Plutonic phase hits right on Cinco de Mayo, and it's going to bring about some violence. It's going to bring out the police and death if one is not careful. Death and drama always comes with this placement. You need to watch everything you say or do. Choose your words wisely, because it could cost you your life. You want to use caution, and if you decide to enjoy the nightlife, please use caution when doing this. I highly suggest it. Many people have lost their lives in this phase. This brings out the serial killers, the rapists, any forms of evil that there are. This is the right placement of the stars to bring it out. So, please be careful, everyone, in all that you do in this phase. Just saying. Now, I want to talk about Baltimore for a minute. A lot of things have occurred in the last 24 hours. I understand things that are going on in this placement because of the stars and what I do, and some of my other friends who are astrologers understand this as well. Some of you out there don't understand this. So I always talk about a dragon head and tail, both natal, which is your personal, and the universal, which affects the world. And I talked about this 18 months ago, and when I said that the Aries tail, this is the south node of the moon, is going to be in full control. And only the ones with the cosmic consciousness are going to fully understand this. But let's not forget something. We have Pluto, the planet of life, death, and drama in Capricorn, which rules government and establishment. This rules the police. They are being directly affected by this. And with this dragon in Aries, you have blacks against whites. You have an uprising of racism and violence. I said something about this 18 months ago, and I had a friend of mine unfriend me. Not just unfriend me, completely blocked me. And I said, okay, I can't help what I do. I can't help reading the stars. I can only read into the future. And years ago, my teacher used to tell me it's a curse and a blessing. And, I have to say he was right. It is a curse and a blessing. Being taught what I've been taught, I can see into the future a little bit. Does it make me a psychic? It makes me able to read the stars, and I can see the things that are coming. And it's a little frightening. I'm not going to mince words tonight. I'm going to fully warn you, okay? Because it's kind of frightening. Even for myself as an astrologer, I kind of sat back and went, oh, my God. But anytime you have the tail negative in Aries, you're dealing with energy. You're dealing with white supremacy. You're dealing with blacks against whites. You're not dealing with any kind of universal love. You're not dealing with any kind of unity. You're dealing with angst and oppression and violence and hatred. And we've seen it on both sides of the spectrum. We've seen it. We've seen it with the cops. We've seen it with the people protesting who are stomping on the American flag. Okay, well, what the hell is that going to do you? It's not necessarily the American people that are creating this. It's the infrastructure. It's our police system. We are living in a police state. The police are now funded by the military-industrial complex in many ways. It's very sad. It's a very sad state of affairs. But I want you to understand the planet Pluto is one of the most powerful planets we have. It's the smallest planet. It's the farthest planet from our solar system out there. But it is so very important. And it's the planet of life and death. It's the planet of sex and reincarnation. And it transforms things. This planet has been in place since November of 2008 in Capricorn, and it's going to remain here until the year 2023. That's a long time. And you must understand Pluto takes between 12 and 15 years. It stays in a sign for that long. I call it the generations planet because it governs the generations. And I use myself as an example. I was born in the Pluto and Virgo generation. Well, this is the generation of health. This is the generation where everything has to be pure and clean. And you can actually see that with the establishment of government that's taking place and the people that are in office now. A great many of these people, if they were born between 1957 and 1971, don't quote me on that, I might be off, I'm doing this from the top of my head. This is a generation, you notice, that you can't smoke here, you can't smoke there, you can't have plastic bags, or at least I'm talking about California now. This is the environmental generation, and I have to agree in many ways with the way my star pattern is. I am an environmentalist. I work wholeheartedly to protect Mother Earth for the generations that come after me. That's why. And if we don't start taking care of her, we're going to have problems. You're going to see a lot of changes going on within the government from now till 2023. Even a new monetary system, I think, will fall into effect under these stars. Now, we have 8 years of this, so be ready, because anytime you have Pluto in Capricorn, you have negative energy that affects career. It affects politics. It affects wealth, and it affects government. Now, the power of corporations will probably reach its peak or tipping point, as some people want to call it, during this 15-year stay in Capricorn. Now, however, I've looked a little further into this, and I see extreme danger coming in regards to Mother Earth and Mother Nature and the environment. I think in the very near future, our priorities as human beings is going to shift to what we as humans seemed as important may not be as important anymore, because it may mean the very essence of our survival. I don't mean to scare anybody, but I wouldn't be true to myself, and I wouldn't be true to my listeners out there if I didn't tell the truth about what I'm seeing in the stars. I'm very alarmed by some things that are taking place, environmentally speaking. There are so many things taking place, it's unbelievable. There's omens, there's many messages that people are so oblivious to. The light workers of the world see it. The rest of humanity doesn't. And there's only 1% of us in the world, light workers, people that have cosmic consciousness. And knowing this knowledge is a blessing and a gift. My teacher was not lying when he said this. So in lieu of that, I want everyone to be very careful. Now, in regards to Freddie Gray's death, the news came out today that it was ruled a homicide, and after looking at a lot of the news reports today and stuff, I realized that, his injuries, the fatal injuries that he sustained, did not happen in the streets. They happened inside that paddy wagon, inside that van. And it makes the police force look very, very bad. And it's getting worse. There was just a report I saw before I went on air about a friend of mine in New York sent it to me. She was telling me that 2 or 3 LAPD cops are on videotape, caught red-handed, and I'll post that on Facebook a little later tonight, caught red-handed, beating the crap out of a homeless man. Okay, I have relatives that are police officers, and they're retired now, thank God. And he said to me the other day, boy, because we look horrible, don't we? I mean, it's just one bad thing after another. When I became a cop, I took the oath to protect and to serve the public, not to hurt the public, not to discriminate because of the color of one's skin. And now you could be a black man walking in the streets of Manhattan and get searched just because of the color of your skin. I think that's terrible. I just find this world to be disgusting. I don't know how else to put it. And I hope there's justice for Freddie Gray. And for those of you out there who disagree with me, well, Linda's not going to mince words tonight. Turn off Fox News and start watching some real news with real truth, because you're all being fed a great big bunch of bullshit by mainstream media. And I say this every damn week. Just like my guest that's coming on. Half of you out there don't even know what had happened on the set of this movie with Adam Sandler. And that saddens me, because the truth just isn't out there. And there's people like myself who search for the truth. Not all of us are like me, but there's a few of us. We dig deeper. It helps when you have a Jupiter and Scorpio like myself. I always have luck finding the truth. Maybe I should have been a detective. Who knows? But with that...
Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and...